The title of this story captures the very moment of that explosion. Trump claimed an IQ of 180. Late-night host Jim Mel had just revealed the truth about his failed cognitive test. "I'm a very intelligent person because of my genius, okay?" he had said. He ended the Rose Garden speech. He was planning a UFC fight in the White House. He was cutting Secret Service protection. He had named himself as host of the Kennedy Center. In one stunning move that shook the political world, the former president was mocked, and a lie was exposed, one that raised questions not just about a man's ego, but about his ability to lead, his mental health, and his entire carefully crafted history. It was a story about the naked truth hidden behind arrogance. The story begins, as it often does, with a thunderous campaign rally. A sea of red hats waved together under the blinding lights of the stage. He stood there, glowing, his next headline-making line ready to be devoured by the crowd. "They gave me an IQ test," he said under the press pen lights. "With the best doctors, a real test, and I passed it. They told me, 'Sir, we've never seen anything like it. I scored 180, one of the highest ever. Einstein level!'" The crowd roared. His supporters clapped and chanted his name again and again. Once again, he had bent the truth like a showman. "I asked the doctor," he continued, "is there any cognitive test I can take? Because I've heard about it, and I want to shut these people up. These are fake stories, okay? Fake news." But outside that arena, the reception was different. Historians, fact-checkers, and medical experts were not cheering. They were calculating. The number 180 wasn't just extraordinary. It was mathematically almost impossible. It was an exaggeration. It was a clear fabrication. And no one knew this better than Jim Mel. That night, on his show, Mel began with his usual humor but soon took a serious turn. "You know," he said with a smirk. "He said his IQ is 180. That's really high. So, we decided to look into it. And guess what? When he was president, he claimed he took a test, a cognitive test. And this weekend, a rumor spread that he's been out of sight, hasn't been on camera, and people started wondering, is he okay?" Mel paused. The audience chuckled nervously. "Then," he continued, "we got a copy of the actual test." The crowd fell silent. The lights dimmed. "This isn't an IQ test," he said gravely. "It's the Montreal Cognitive Assessment, a screening tool to check for memory loss or early signs of dementia. And folks, he didn't pass it." The studio gasped. The screen behind him lit up with slides of the test, simple tasks, pictures of animals, a drawing of a clock. Mel pointed to the first question. He was shown a picture of a penguin, he said. He wrote, "Snow chicken." Laughter burst out. Uneasy, confused, embarrassed laughter. Next slide, a donkey. His written answer, "Dirty dog with skin problems." Then came the clock drawing. The task was to draw a clock showing 10:11. What appeared on the screen looked like a child's chaotic doodle. Numbers everywhere. No hands. No time. The laughter faded. The audience was stunned. Mel looked straight into the camera. "This is no longer a joke," he said. "This is a man who has built his identity on brilliance. And tonight, the world sees the crack." Within hours, social media exploded. #SnowChicken began trending worldwide. Some defended him, calling it a smear campaign. Others laughed. And some grew deeply concerned. Inside the White House, chaos brewed. Reports said he screamed at his press secretary, who leaked this. He ordered a public statement. "I am perfectly healthy and more capable than ever." But the press wouldn't stop asking, "If you're so capable, why not release the full test results?" The next day, he appeared in the Rose Garden. His face looked tired. His voice was sharp. He smiled awkwardly and said, "I'm very smart, okay? My memory is tremendous. These are lies." Then suddenly, he changed topics. "We're planning a UFC fight in the White House. People want entertainment." Reporters exchanged glances. Was this a joke or an attempt to distract? Then he added, "I'm also building a golden balloon here, a symbol of success." One reporter asked, "Sir, are you mentally okay?" He glared back. "I am a stable genius," he snapped. That once powerful phrase now sounded hollow, a punchline instead of a badge of pride. That night, Jim Mel returned to the airwaves. "Maybe it's not funny anymore," he said quietly. "Maybe this is about a man's mind and a nation's judgment." Experts weighed in. Psychologists said people who constantly proclaim their own brilliance often hide deep insecurity. Historians noted that when leaders become consumed by their own image, their downfall usually happens on the very stage that built them. Within weeks, everything began to change. Allies distanced themselves. Party leaders grew silent. His inner circle fractured. Supporters divided, half still loyal, half finally questioning everything. History recorded the moment as the night of the snow chicken. It became a symbol, the night the myth of genius collapsed under the weight of truth. But the story didn't end there. After weeks of silence, he returned to social media. His post read, "Every genius is misunderstood. I'm still here, and I'll still win." Some saw confidence, others saw delusion. Maybe the truth was somewhere in between. This wasn't just the fall of a man. It was a reflection of a culture that rewards charisma over truth, image over integrity. It reminds us that masks don't last forever, and when they break, the world finally sees